Hi and welcome to Visual Art Photography Tutorials. Today on Neighborhood Photographer, we're going to be adding a glow to our images. It's going to add depth and richness to our photos. Okay, before we get underway today, I'd like to give a big thank you to all of you who have subscribed to the channel. Much appreciated. And for those of you who haven't subscribed yet, please do so. You'll be joining a growing group of extremely enthusiastic and talented photographers. In a previous tutorial on Neighborhood Photographer, we had been shooting flowers. And I said that in a later video, I would show you how to add a glow to those flowers to add depth and richness. Well, we'll not only do that today, but we'll also show you how adding a glow to a landscape photo will give it a very special feel. Let's take a look right now. First up, those flower images from a previous video. And if you'd like to go to that flower video, just click on the sign right there, and you'll be able to go directly to that video. Take a look at that one if you haven't seen it already, and then you can tackle this one. So we're going to be adding a glow. How do you do it? It's really quite simple. We're in Photoshop CS6 right now, and we want to duplicate this layer down here, which previously was a background layer. I changed it to a layer, any kind of a layer, but it doesn't really matter. You want to duplicate that layer by hitting Command J on a Mac or Control J on a PC. Duplicate the layer. So now you've got two layers. Normally when I do any kind of adjustments with levels or curves in this panel here, I use adjustment layers. But for this particular kind of technique, I do the adjustment right on the layer. So what we'll do is we'll go up to Image, up at the top here, and go to Adjustments, and we'll take a look at curves. I like using curves, but you can use levels if you'd like. And I'm going to go somewhere around here and just bump this right up. I'm going to make this very, very bright. Way too bright, actually. But that's what you want, and you'll see why in a moment. So it's all to taste, and you'll want to experiment from time to time. But that's what I've done with this one. Okay, hit OK. So now you've got your original layer with the correct exposure. You can tell up here on the histogram that it's a good exposure. And over here, the second layer on top is way too bright. Now what we're going to do with this layer is we're going to add a blur to it. So you go up to the top again to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. Now, there is no specific amount of blur that you should be adding to a photo. I can't tell you to add 20 or 40 or 100. It's up to you. It also depends on the size and the resolution of your image. So down here, you're back to that very, very bright image in clarity. Now I'm going to bump it up. And again, it's to taste. It's the way you want it to be. You may want it to be blurred just a little, or perhaps a whole lot. But I'm going to go around somewhere in the 30s like that. It's going to work for this particular image, at least the way I want to present it. So now I've set the blur. I hit OK. So again, you've got your original image here, and then the next layer is that very bright blur layer. Now here's the secret to the whole thing. You go up to here into your blend modes, and you go from normal, you switch it to multiply. Watch this. Now you've got this. It's clear. You've got lots of clarity. It's sharp, but there's a glow. There's a richness that's entered into the image. This is the original, and with the glow. It just adds some warmth and some depth to the image. Let's take a look at another one that we had in that previous tutorial. Hollyhocks. Again, let's duplicate the layer, Command J, go up to Image, Adjustments, again Curves, and I'll just arbitrarily move this up here and really brighten the image. Okay, then you hit OK. Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and I had the setting at 38.8 last time. I'm going to go with the same thing for this image as well. Let's take a look. Let that render. It has. We'll go to the blend modes again to multiply. And look at that. Look at the difference. That's before. This is after. It's just richer. It's almost like your photos had a hug. You know what I mean? Here's another one. This one's already done. Okay. That's the original. Brighten it up. Gaussian blur, multiply, and there you have it. Now, I told you off the top that we would also take a look at a landscape shot, just to show you. Now, I have to let you know this. A lot of photographers I know use this technique on all of their images. They'll make it very subtle most of the time so that you're not saying, oh, the picture is glowing, but they'll use it all the time because they like the fact that it adds some depth and some richness to the image. Okay, here's the image as shot. All right? Then we make it too bright, and we add the blur and multiply. Look at that. It just, again, it's just wrapped. It's enveloped in warmth and richness. Okay? Original again. Nice. Nothing wrong with it. But it just adds something to it. You might not want to use it for all of your images, but it works for some, and it adds a nice bit of depth to it. So there you have it. Adding a glow in Photoshop to add depth and richness to any photo, whether it be flowers, landscape, even a cityscape, can benefit from adding a small glow to your photos. I'm Ray Scott, and until next time, remember, it's not what you see, it's how you see it. And I'll see you soon.